application. All right, let's get this started. It's right over here, isn't it? Hey there, friends. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it might be in your part of the world.
Greetings, my excellent friend.
It is so good to see you. My name is Jeff Fritz, and today is December 9th, 2025, and we're going to write a little bit of code today. How are you doing over there, chat room? It's been a few days. Let me say hello. We're right over here. We're getting started a little bit late here today. Had to take the dog over to a kennel to be checked out and doing his thing today. So I got a little bit late getting started, but always happy to see you. Go ahead. You want to take a look? Take a look at the hat. Go for it. It's right there. Yeah, you're gonna like this one. You're gonna like this one. Let's see what Charlie has to say about this one, because I do like this hat. So even if it is a little bit beat up. Yeah?
Loki campaign hat has been identified with high confidence.
That's right. And you can read into that whatever political message you would like. So, hey, Amal, good morning. I hope you're doing well in India. The CTI Geek is the first in chat. Hello, Impalowski. How's it going there? Robson Previato, good morning to you. Patty Boy. Hope you're having a good afternoon, good early evening in Glasgow. Ice Cream Stick Model, how's it going over there? Hello, hello. So, it's weird. I'm trying to take time off here for December and get some other things done, and I wanted to do fundraising for St. Jude. And literally my evenings have become jam-packed with we've got to get all the things done. Like, oh my god. Alu the Dragon! Hello!
Aloof the Dragon just resubscribed for 34 months.
At tier 2!
And I still haven't learned a lick of visual Haskell Dora who C# coffee Aloof point.
I see what you're doing there. Hello, Steve! Steve! Morning so far? Oh no. Well, we are also on YouTube. If Twitch is not behaving well. My broadcast is running properly, according to all the things that I have here on my side. And from what I'm seeing, yeah, going out on Restream. So, if you are having problems on Twitch, we are also broadcasting on YouTube. If you're having some issues, you can try bouncing back and forth there, and you should see the same things. So, and network error. Okay, reload. Sorry about that. How you doing there? Codebase Alpha in Birmingham. I'll bring up the full screen so we can see the map as folks drop in and share their locations, and we get zoomed in on some of the locations that folks are tuned in from. And let me start the music and we can catch up on some topics that have been happening here. I'm going to go with the Stream Beats Synthwave playlist today, and let's start right here with the Phantom Hit. So this is the Lowlands. Is that right, Smirking Squiggly? There's Pueblo, Colorado. And Ice Cream Stick Model, that should pick up and navigate over to Finland. Gary, Indiana, there we go. There we go. So, and it only maps those locations that folks share. So, look at that. Love seeing it bounce around here. Thank you so much here. Oh my gosh, Fairy Wings with the resub. Hello,
Fairy
my
Wings
friend,
just
pushing that hype
resubscribed
train.
for 86
Look at that.
months. Boop, love your face.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. How you doing? 86 months. My lord, has it been that long that we've known each other? That is, yeah. No, we're good there. Choo Choo Hype Train. Yes, on to level 2. So, I'll zoom out the map. So, yeah, it did drop London. There we go. So, how you doing there? H Crosby 20. Welcome. It's good to have some first-time viewers tuning in. We're going to get into some coding here in just a little bit. There it is. It's going to bounce around a little bit. I thought we already picked up Patty Boy there. There it goes. Am I adding AI? Well, let me come back to that topic in just a second. Thank you so much, Pusto. Very kind of you to chime in there that it's so good to see me and you're going to see me more on the daily. Yeah, we'll do some things with that. Digital Dummy asking, am I going to add AI integration into CodeMedic? I think there's a place for some AI assisted analysis. Yes. I think there's a place for doing some static analysis and some interactions. What the heck happened here on Restream? Some interactions to help with doing documentation, generating and getting some assistance that's automatically added into your application based on what you've already written. Yes, I think those are features that we should consider. I think there's other low-hanging fruit that we can address first, earlier, and make those happen a little bit. So, but there was a suggestion that was dropped on YouTube that we'll take a look at. Yeah, I do want to talk about the AI thing a little bit. I saw there was a bit of chatter, and I feel like it was a bit of a nasty misinterpretation of some things that happened over on the Windows Central blog, where a columnist, not a reporter, a columnist, wrote that Copilot is a failing product, was the summary of their blog post. And man, they where did it go? Let me find that article. Right. No, there was an article right on the top of this. It was like everybody was talking about this on social media yesterday. Here it is. Nobody wants to buy or use its shoddy AI products. Literally, this person didn't interview anyone, but summarized reports from other folks. They're saying, hey, people are using other tools besides Copilot. They don't know anything. OpenAI is saying, hey, we need to do some work to catch up to Gemini. This is what happens in competition. Copilot is still 14% of the market and is still climbing. Gemini moved up and advanced 12%. They had a new product release. They had a new CLI that they released last month.
ChatGPT answers questions.
Yeah, they do.
I question your life choices.
You certainly do,
We serve
Charlie.
different functions entirely.
And yes, there's going to be future models of ChatGPT coming sooner. That's what competition does to folks. And the AI market share report for the start of shows Gemini actively poised to supplant Copilot. Here's the deal. That is a bad faith interpretation of this report. And here's even further how Windows Central is flat out lying to you. Look at the numbers on this chart. Google Gemini 14.6%, Copilot 12%. Here's the deal. That's not the numbers in the table they plotted. 61.3 for ChatGPT, 61.3. Copilot is 14.10. They changed the chart. This chart is a lie. First Page Sage is lying to you. Further, by their own numbers, Copilot's still leading.
At Zero Li prepared a special reward for your exceptional display of incompetence. It's cake. Just kidding. It's more disappointment.
Oh. So these folks on Windows Central are doing a bad faith interpretation of a chart that has no basis in the very data that they're presenting. Further, they put together a chart of engines, okay? And they rolled Copilot into ChatGPT. Like, do you see? It's not even close. And here's the thing. Here's the thing. If you're using ChatGPT or Copilot, you're still using Azure. And Microsoft still gets paid. And yes, look at how many ads are on this page. And look at what the number one ad is on this page. They're doing it to generate page views. And Twitter fell for it. Hook, line, and sinker. We'll come back to this in a second here. So, look. The blogosphere doesn't have a lot to talk about right now where they can be negative about things. So they're making stuff up. They're literally misinterpreting the numbers that they're presenting on their own screen. I just showed you where it is. You can click through and look at that yourself. It is, look, there are folks at Microsoft that use all kinds of tools. They use Windows, they use Mac, they use Linux. They explore and look at what competitors are using. They use Copilot for all kinds of things. They use ChatGPT for some things. They use Claude for some things because they're learning, growing, and delivering cutting-edge products. Some folks are going to like products and say, yes, we want to use those. But that's not where the story is. The clickbait is the folks that don't like the products. I bet you if you interviewed folks at Google, you'll find people that don't like Gemini. I bet you if you interview folks at Anthropic, you'll find folks that don't like Claude. It's a bubble, and the burst is coming. What other products do you have? What other ways do you have to support that you're going to survive the burst? So, Copilot isn't a model. That's right. Yep. Copilot is a product that consumes and repackages GPT. So, and GitHub Copilot can use lots of models from different companies. And GitHub Copilot is still see, where's the comparison of GitHub Copilot to the competitors in the space? They're not going to write about that because GitHub Copilot is the #1 product in that space right now. That's not a clickbait story. So, the stories that folks like to see, folks love to see a smashed up accident on the side of the road. They do. That's a thing. Fine. So, and yep, that's one of the great things about Copilot is you can pivot and use all kinds of different models and even bring your own model. You can't do that with some of those other products. And here's the thing. Other products like Cursor use ChatGPT. So 6 and 7? So anyways, moving along. And Restream, yeah, froze for a little bit there. So it's been fun. There you go. Fritz's tech rant of the morning is reading and seeing these people who are quite literally missing the boat. How you doing there? Hop in the cloud. Hello. Foundry Local is available as well. That's a great point, George. Right? That Microsoft is now enabling you to use more of their models and things offline. Now, Foundry Local really is focused on the fee models. Quinn is available there as well. But I expect that to grow as Windows and some of these other products are going to start offloading some of that AI work to run locally, where you do have an NVIDIA processor, you do have an NPU, you do have space to do some of that simple analysis locally and not publish and share things and go through the network hop going through the cloud. You're doing AI engineer certification early next year? Very cool. Good luck. So we've been working on this little CLI app, this little command line app called CodeMedic. And my idea, my thinking, my planning with it was I wanted to build an application that was going to allow folks to get a little bit more developer experience out of working with .NET projects at the command line. Space Shot! Hello?
Space Shot just resubscribed for 77 months.
77
Is it my
months.
imagination that months are going by faster?
No, it's not your imagination. They are going by faster. That last month, I think, went by in 30 days, and the previous month went by in 31. So it's clearly shorter. Unhip Coder with the resub.
Subscribed for 54 months. Go sharp, Fritz.
Thank you. Yeah. So I wanted to build a tool. Thank you so much for the resubs. That is phenomenal.
Did you know that you can't actually just hope your way through a deployment?
No, I can't.
I didn't know that either until just now.
No. God. Why did I write this? That's right. 30 days in the month in November, and now we got 31 days here in December. Will we have to break the bank after the burst to use AI tools? I don't think so. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a dip in the prices of AI products in order to attract people to use them. I think there'll be a significant prices are rising on the AI tools, and I think there will be a crash at some point because folks will say, wait a sec, and you're already hearing it in some places. I'm paying $30 a month for tool XYZ. Am I really getting $30 a month out of that? The developer tools, yes, you most certainly are. The embedded tools in other products, I don't know. I've been trying to use Opus Clip to generate clips from videos and edit and put things together in a nice, flashy, TikTok approved manner, and it just doesn't. It just doesn't click with what I'm looking for, and I'm paying what $10-15 a month for that, and I'm like, am I really getting $10-15 worth out of it? I don't know. Not looking forward to price rises after people form dependencies. Yes. Media streaming is absolutely doing that right now, and I believe we're going to see that happening with the AI tools. You already see prices climbing on those because cloud service prices are rising because they can't, they're building new data centers. There's more demands on more electricity. The price of electricity is going up. So those prices are going to be passed on to us as consumers. Phil with the resub.
Phil Vesey just resubscribed for 54 months.
Thank you so much, Phil. Yeah, I'm happy to chat, Frank. Every time I put up a lower third here, Charlie drops timestamps, and I have a feature in Charlie where I can use those timestamps with FFmpeg, and it'll automatically cut like 10-15 seconds on both sides of when the lower third appeared and was taken off screen. I then take that MP4 that Charlie creates for me, I throw it into Opus Clip, and I tell it to clean it up and add some B-roll, and no. My problem is I can't put 4 hours of MP4 into Opus Clip and say, go find me clips. It's too much. I can't send a half a gigabyte? No, it's like 2 gigabytes of video into Opus Clip and say, go analyze this. I run through all my credits in not even half of that video. Oh, very cool. I'd be interested in hearing more. Package Store IO. Have not seen that. Let's take a look. What do we got there? Discover premium NuGet packages. Professionally maintained .NET packages you can trust. Oh, I see. And these people are working with Package Store? I don't think they are. That doesn't... Okay. I don't think you can... Yeah. So when it comes time to buy, all they're doing is collecting and putting links to these various services. They're not actually letting you download and install from here. No. They're providing links back to these products. I get what they're trying to do. I get it. There's two sides to doing this. Here I can show that. Where did it go? Hang on. Where did it we go. Really? It's gone.
I'm in control now.
What?
Sort of. Actually, no, not really.
That's right.
Fritz is still doing everything. I'm just observing anxiously.
I see. So there's two sides to building a premium package repository like this. Unfortunately, the common behavior of enterprises in the .NET or Java space, or in any space that uses open source technology, is they look at it as free software that they can use and they don't need to contribute back. So when folks say, you know what, I'd like to get a little bit of support so I can continue investing in this software that I think is valuable, and they do request a licensing fee so that they can continue building that software, or companies that are building software that you can use, right? It's successful companies that are building software that you can use. This turns into anger from those enterprises that were getting things for free using open source. And some of these folks get awful. If they started as open source and they went to a paid model, they get terrible press. They get dragged through the mud. Some of them get death threats. It is a terrible experience for these folks. And I fear that putting some of these products that were open source and are now a paid licensed product, putting them on a site like this is creating an effective hit list. I worry about that. I don't know if that'll happen, but that would be a concern that I would have. It's a nice idea. And you said there was an about page here where it says they're looking to do. So basic listings is what they've got right now, but at some point they want to do a private feed with Stripe integration so that you can offload the NuGet downloads to them. I don't know about that. Because maintaining a NuGet server is not trivial. And there's a reason why I know. Because you are now the add library screen for everybody. I don't know. It might be worth it for some organizations to offload that processing. Maybe Mediators had one that went through and did that. Yep, and he got a ton of flack for that. He really did. Nexus Clips can look at your Twitch or YouTube channel to analyze clips. It's Nexus, if I remember correctly, focuses on games. There's a lot of people that are trying to do this, and quite frankly, this was something that ClipTalk was starting to be able to do. It didn't have the AI wired in yet, but it knew everything that was going on in your clips. Oh, now we're getting into some of these other ones. They didn't have that before. And how much are you? You're not going to show me any pricing or anything here. No. Wait, did you see the SEO text they had buried there on the front page? Look at that. Free automatic Twitch clips, yeah. Create free clips. What does that mean? Mm-hmm. Yeah. No credits. Full access without limits. Process without limits.
Ellieface's trash throwing technique was admirable. Google Assistant belongs in waste receptacles alongside other obsolete technologies.
I think it does. Yeah, what do you mean by free? See, it's with the Pro plan. So.
Right, so the good news is I've identified the problem.
Did you?
Bad news, it's everything.
Oh, jeez.
All of it?
No! It's you're not going to tell me what I'm getting into on pricing here. No. Sorry. I'm not getting into a business relationship until you tell me what's involved. Hey there, LA Face. How you doing? Eclipse GG is a mess of UI and features, but does everything very well. Like, this is not a trivial thing to build. Analyzing videos and streams is not easy to do. Gaming stream highlights, convert highlights into instantly add memes to gaming clips. Yeah, this is gaming. So it wouldn't work for me. Yeah, gameplay. Yeah. Is Eclipse free? No. No. It handles cooking with heat poorly for vertical videos. Yeah. So, analyzing video with AI is hard. Yeah, it'd be nice if they actually showed the pricing. Like, if you're not going to show the pricing, I'm not going to get it. Yeah, you're not going to show me the pricing either. I've tried clicking upgrade to premium and you keep going somewhere else. I'll even click the pricing thing up here. No, you're not going to show me. No. It's not cheap to do this. Analyzing video is expensive. How much is it to analyze video with AI on Azure? Yeah, analyzing audio first is a start, right? And that was a direction that I was going with ClipTalk because I already had it all. Video analysis is hard and expensive. Yep. But even when you do have it, yeah, you put me into, man, you're Azure Video Indexer, right? This is the one. So, allows you to extract, review, curate, customize, search, and publish insights on a single job. Per minute for audio is 2.4 cents. And if you're analyzing somebody's entire stream, then once you start looking at the video, per minute is 4.5 cents. There is scale. Yeah. You're going to get into 15 cents a minute once you start. If you use these other ones to narrow down, and Ellieface is right, narrow things down audio-wise to where you see that, hey, there's some excitement, there's something interesting going on. and then take those chunks and do the further analysis, spend the 15 cents to do the advanced video analysis. What actually happened on here? Is this interesting? Even then, for just a 1-minute clip, once you find the clip, you're in on 17, 18 cents for a 1-minute clip. And that's before you do any other network bandwidth or editing. It's going to cost you $0.25 per clip to generate. And with some of those folks that they're advertising on their front page, they've got hours that they're producing each day. Like, each one of their videos is costing them $10, $20 a day to analyze. Just to analyze. At least. Chat analysis is another piece of that can help. My point is, this is an expensive operation. This isn't just querying a database. So these folks saying, get started for free. You're not telling me what the big price is on the backside. Because there is a big price on the backside. So, you wonder if they're cutting even more cost by pulling a transcript of text from a live stream using something cheaper. So, pulling a transcript, because I know how to do that, is not hard. It's something that, with the appropriate tools, setting up right, you need to listen to the video that's being delivered. And you need to do that in a way that you're not violating, and we're going to talk about this in a second. You need to do that in a way that you're not violating terms of service for Twitch, YouTube, Kick, and so on. Like, that's a thing that these add-on services need to be aware of. They also need to be aware of, because we've been the victim of it. Twitch and YouTube, when they see something profitable that somebody's doing, extending their platform, they will turn and build that product into their service. And now your service doesn't have any customers. Any video models you can run locally? No. The amount of power that so there is, and let me see if I can get there was a metaphor that folks had that would compare the amount of power needed to analyze text versus images versus video. The power required for AI analysis of video can vary significantly. Where'd it go? There was electricity. It's like the amount of electricity needed to generate a video is like the same amount of electricity as a city uses. Yeah, MIT Technology. Here we go. MIT Technology Review did the math on AI's energy footprint. Here we go. Yeah, Twitch is shady, right? And this was one of the things that I talked to Dan Clancy about. Like, you had a third-party market of folks that were building these features for you and promoting your product. Like, he said, yeah, but we wanted to have more influence and control over that. And I'm like, okay, but now those businesses are out of business, and they're not promoting your product. So he gets it. How much energy the AI industry uses down to a single query? Yeah. Show me the numbers. Meta and Microsoft are starting up nuclear power plants.
Look at me
OpenAI.
still talking when there's science to do.
Yes, I am.
And by science I mean debugging.
No, we're not doing that just
which
yet.
you should do.
I
No.
will. No, not yet. ChatGPT is the 5th most visited website in the world, just after Instagram and ahead of Twitter. No, how? Yeah. Single AI model might be housed on a dozen or so GPUs. Yeah. No. That's we're not getting where I want to go. It's a lot of electricity is the point that I'm trying to get to. Yep, frame by frame. So it's basically one image at a time. So, I'm not going to get into this. Frame by frame is a naive approach, but it doesn't work for production systems. But at some point, you need to look at the content of the video. Transcript and doing works from there gets somewhere. But even before you look at the image. Okay. Yeah, I had started going down and learning more and more about that. But in order to do scene analysis, you need to look at the picture. You need to look at the content, right? The actual video itself, the MP4, the MKV, right? Those are frames stored in a file, highly compressed. At some point, you're looking at that content. So yeah, so I look at how much these services cost, and for me as a live streamer who is trying to grow things, and yeah, extracting frames is not the same as analyzing. No, extracting the frames is easy to do. Analyzing those frames, right? Do you really need to analyze every frame, 60 frames a second? No. Could you analyze, right, of those 60 frames, could you analyze one of them, one per second? Sure. Right? In a 1 minute video, then you're only analyzing 60 images. You could minimize the number of frames you need to analyze, right? Maybe you can go as infrequently as every 5 seconds then to analyze. Then, right, you're looking at far fewer, but maybe you catch things, oh, wait a sec, let's go zoom in and analyze. Something happened here. So, yep, detect some changes and then scan around. There you go, Lorsair, right? There's algorithms not for searching video, but for searching data that could be applied that will get you somewhere. And I am not an expert on this. It sounds like Famda is looking at clustering and color. Yeah. And that data is visible in the raw data of the image. You don't actually have to scan and recognize, oh, Fritz's face is over here and there's text over here. But you know, there's a different color that's happening in this space over here versus that space over there. And when that changes, okay, let's start looking at some further analysis. I can see that. And, right, that's the same type of analysis we would do if it was text data, numeric data. Really? Okay. That's very interesting. So, I want to get back into the project that we're working on now. So, I'd love to do more with the video analysis. The way that I've been working right now it doesn't make sense for me to have Opus Clip. I've run a number of videos through there, and it doesn't make sense. When I get done a stream, I take 10 minutes and I've been recording a summary. I take that over to Clipchamp. I trim the front, I trim the end, I clean up some of the places in the middle where I know I had some bumps, I'll just say, right? And then I might ask it to do AI analysis to clean up some of the ums and uhs. But otherwise, let it fly. There it goes. And it's worked out nicely for me. And you see I've got the playlist that I've started out there that's summarizing what's going on with CodeMedic. What am I trying to get? I'm trying to figure out a way to publish summaries of what's happening on the live stream, to pull those together and put content on my YouTube channel that summarizes here's what's happening on the live stream, promotes what's happening on the live stream, shows some of the interesting things that we do on the live stream, and start to create a little bit more of a video base over there that shows some of the things we're learning and teaches some of the things that we've been doing here live. So it's kind of hard to concretely define what those things are. So taking that 10-15 minutes tops after stream, record a summary, zoom in on the things that are interesting, I think that's getting somewhere. So how do I keep tracks of the bumps in the stream that I clip out in Clipchamp? I know where I paused. I'll clap my hands when I restart, and you can see the line, the spike in the audio. And I zoom in on that, and that's where I'll go and apply a fix. So the clap your hands trick is an old trick that I've been using for 10-15 years. How you doing there, H. Mendoza? Welcome. So I did some work over the weekend. Let me dive in. We can talk about CodeMedic and get working on this. The video thing is something I would love to do more discussion and work around, but that inside baseball and video production, I don't think is what most folks are here to hear me talk about and work on. Okay. Sure. Be happy to hear what you come up with. The trick, Famda, in my mind is listening's the wrong word, but receiving the streamed video programmatically and interacting with that. Doing the analysis on that versus just waiting to the end, download the whole thing and process. Because when you download the whole thing at the end and it's a 2 gigabyte file, that's a lot of processing. Not to mention it's going to take you a while to download that 2 gigabyte. So, all right, I'm going to pivot and get back into CodeMedic. So, over the weekend, I spent some time writing some code. Yeah, sounds good. I spent some time writing some code because there were a couple things that just didn't feel right to me that I wanted to go in. I wanted to correct. I wanted to clean up. Let me head over to the code and I'll show you some of the commits and we'll dive into what these things were. We had this issue right at the end of stream that the inspector that was looking at and collecting information about the various NuGet packages was failing its tests on Mac and Linux. It turned out it was due to hard-coded Windows paths. Copilot identified it, right? It ran the tests, zoomed in on where that error line was, and suggested a fix. Turns out it was the right fix. Applied, done, and gone. I started going through and looking at, we have a health feature right now that really was, give me the lines of code in a project, give me the various configuration bits, and list for me the packages that are in a project. Right? And that's going to be a jumping off point to do some further static analysis, and then even AI analysis and so on and so forth. But as a jumping off point, when it comes time to start adding in more features, how do we do that without having to go back and hard code in, here's all these new features into the initial configuration? And I went back to the model that served us so well in a handful of the other projects that I have here, and I wrote a plugin manager so that we could load in other plugins, other features, put them in an isolated space. I don't need to write a whole bunch of information about the various commands that are out there and concatenate them together in a help screen or something like that. I can register and pull those all together separately, and then inside my root command handler, instantiate a plugin loader that will go and, for right now, load internal plugins, right? As the site starts here, let's take that health command. Let's take this idea of bill of materials. That was one of the top features that I wanted to build here. Let's take those two features and separate them out as two plugins so that we've established we test the plugin model, and then we'll set up to be able to load external plugins and provide ways to install and put down plugins on disk so that you can use different features, get them loaded in from external resources to enhance what CodeMedic can do. And CodeMedic is going to give you that ability to analyze, report on, and maybe even apply fixes to your applications. So I built that out a little bit. The plugin loader down here has these ideas of analysis engines and reporter plugins, right? So analysis engine, hey, go run this thing, and we can bring that in somewhere else. And then the reporter plugin can analyze and generate nice reports from things. Hey, Chris Funk, good to see you. So we have those two collections of things, and then we have commands that can be executed to run these things. And honestly, I think these two things can probably get consolidated and go away, because the plugin really only cares about commands. Like the outer interactions really only care about commands. So when we're loading internal ones, get the current assembly, load plugins from this assembly async. So looking at this assembly, we're going to go find classes. Ooh, go ahead, take a look. We're going to go find classes that are not abstract and that are assignable from iPlugin. There we go. Check it out. Create an instance of that plugin.
The analysis
Initialize
is
it.
complete.
Yeah.
Loki campaign hat has been
That's
identified with high confidence.
If it's an analysis engine, add it to the collection, register the various commands that are available, and place them in the command registrations collection. If it's a reporter, that's fine. Stash it in the reporters collection. So, and then there's different ways to get access to those things. So then when the root command handler wakes up, right, it can write out, here's a list of the commands that I support. And where is it? For each command, write out, here's a list of the commands that are available. And here's the built-in ones as well. So, not bad. Easy to wrap our heads around and start developing. And I turned that health command into the health analysis plugin that has a little bit of metadata about here's what this plugin is. And it does all the same things that it does before, just now anchored by this interface that we're going to go through. You tried to debug, and when passing arguments, it's saying 0 project. CodeMedic only runs at the current folder.
Space is scary. Also, your production environment is scary. Let's just stay in development.
That's right. I think that's a great idea. Hey, Space Cat. Good to see you. Hello. I've registered, and Space Cat's a friend here from St. Jude Fundraising. I've registered and set up all the things online to start my fundraiser, and I just haven't gotten time to put all the things into the stream and set up all the milestones yet. So I'm not taking donations yet, but I should have time tonight to finish that, and we can do it tomorrow. So, but PowerShell works. Oh, good. Okay. Yes, because you're running PowerShell at the command line and you're in a folder. Right now, this doesn't have a way to pass in, here's the folder I want you to analyze. So that's a good bug report to actually come back to. We need to be able to... I did a control click on that, man. You're supposed to open that. Thank you. Need to support passing in a folder location to analyze. Yeah. And let's dictate a little. Currently, CodeMedic only analyzes the current folder and below. Period. We need to be able to pass in a root folder to start analysis at. Cool. That should be easy to introduce here. So, Amal, that totally makes sense because we don't have a way to say, hey, here's the project folder. You'll be able to debug better when we can pass in a project folder, and then we can put in the arguments, the debug arguments, start running in some other folder location. We'll get there in just a minute. I think this is the first issue we should look at today. So I added the plugin system. Yeah, back up. Get one more. There we go. I added an editor config, and I was tinkering with agents, and I added an agent for that's called the C#.NET janitor agent. There it is. Perform janitorial tasks. So I asked it to fix nullables. You got more coffee? I'm doing well. How you doing there, Space Cat? Hello, hello. So not bad, and working on test coverage, generating documentation. Nice. So I thought that was good to bring in there, and I did some fixes. I also added a public console renderer, so when there's an error, we can easily write out the error to the console. I may end up wanting to change this to a logger, and when the logger sees an error, write it out. I don't know. Trying to wrap up some work stuff for the year? Yes! So I did that in November, and I'm off for the rest of the year from work. So motivation for a lot of folks right now is through the floor. It's really bad. Between economy, world news, the state of things right now is not great. So, and I am drinking way too much coffee too fast. Job market, yes. Yes. So, I also moved the formatter to a top level feature so that when we run the tool, you could say by default output to the console, format is markdown, And you can pipe that markdown somewhere if you'd like. Low hire and low fire. Right now, they were firing a lot of folks. So the rumor, based on what some of the Microsoft executives have said, is that after firing 15,000 people in 2025, 15,000 plus, they wanted, the rumor is, and what Wall Street thinks they're saying is that they're going to dismiss a lot more people in February. Knowing the process that they had to go through to dismiss that 15,000, I don't think it's happening that quickly. It's happening, but not that quickly. The weather too, it is really cold here in the northern half of North America. Yeah. Hey, Surly Dev. Yeah. The statements that came out of some of the press interactions from executives, the street is interpreting as there are plans to lay off a lot more people. There's statements that have been made that Microsoft is too big to be able to respond and react to things. I have a different interpretation of that. So, what did we do? This was, I introduced a vulnerability scanner, and this is where the comment on YouTube comes in. I cheated with this. I'm not actually doing vulnerability scanning, but I'm executing the .NET command line tool to take a look at the packages in this project and return the vulnerability report that NuGet delivers. Not bad. That does the thing. Uh-oh. We also have some sick family members right now that we're working through. And that's another source of concern. So I'm kind of cheating here in the way that this is doing analysis because I'm delegating, I'm handing it off to someone else. Surly with a comment to get on the map there. There were a couple other folks that shared their locations. So, there's Lancashire. Chris Funk didn't pop up again. Huh. So, there we go. There it is. He said howdy or something. Even then, that should pick it up. So, there's Steve. So, the tour, I think it still works nicely. There's more to do with that. But back over here. So, there was a comment about this. Oh, go get that. Darn it.
Crows 4K just resubscribed for 86 months. 86
Thank you so much, Crows.
Smile,
wow,
work.
86. That is phenomenal. I don't see that in Montana. There we go. So, where did it go? No. Brazil, and is that where that is? Ah, it did find it in here. I'm thinking that was a MT isn't Montana. MO is No, MO is Missouri. Yeah, I was right. So, do I know any good places to work from in Oh, you're looking for like a co-working space in Belfont. I don't know of any places in Belfont off the top of my head. There's Starbucks places all over the place. I don't think the school buildings, the university buildings, are going to be opened. I mean, there's Starbucks downtown, but you're going to see tons of students there. Crows, you need to kind of put a little bit of a greeting with that. The adding calculator. What are you doing here? What did you do with the license? Constantine's public license. Yeah, what's the difference between this license? It looks like it's GPL, except you're allowed to sell it. Yeah, it doesn't just analyze for all messages. So
we're doomed. Your null reference exception is most alarming.
No, it's not. Okay, you wrote a basic add statement in C++. Coding with Carlos. There we go. Quote space jigsaw, and you'll get that. So, yeah, if you use commercially, you have to provide the your entire source code. So, no, it's not. It's a derivation from what the GPL is trying to deliver. But anyways, Boulder, Colorado. Hello. Did it grab Serbia? Yeah. There you go. I know it's not GPL. It's trying to do the same things, permit the same things the GPL does, except not force the re-release of all the source code. Right? We compare licenses against other licenses that we know what they do. So, there used to be an online remote desktop support service by Joel Spolsky's company that had they build on open source software. Yep. But they had to make it available. Yep. Totally. Right? Does not require the source code and the viral release of those things. And right, that's what MIT and Apache licenses are good for as well. They're similar in structure. They're also more well-known and accepted by some enterprises that folks will pick up, and lawyers have blessed. They've approved for use in various locations. So, okay. And that's where you're going to have a challenge. It's okay to create your own license until there's a statement from a lawyer that says, I approve of this, I agree with this, this is something that, right? That third-party validation. That's all. And for one file of code, I don't think you needed to create your own license for that. So, okay. Coming back up here. So, for vulnerability scanning, Amal wrote, they're using Black Duck Scan for binary analysis. I could see us also doing NCLAM, doing CLAM AV to do analysis. That's another tool to bring down, get involved. Black Duck is awful. Tell me more. I'm not familiar with Black Duck. Comprehensive software composition analysis to manage security, quality, and compliance risks associated with open source and third-party code. Okay. GNU GPL, MIT, BSD. There's a handful of highly acknowledged and widely used licenses. I need to take this. There's family things that I need to check into. Give me 1 second.
Your logic is fractured, much like your chances of survival.
Not good news. All right. Ton of false positives from black ducks. Slow, cumbersome to utilize. You like SNCC. Brian Clark works there. Works with that. Not intuitive to integrate with it is difficult. Yeah, I prefer keeping things a little bit cleaner, yes. Yeah, so we have some older family members who are going through probably end of life here by the end of the week. So it's my in-laws, and it's going to be difficult. So, all right, moving on. It's okay. It's okay.
This is the part where I help you debug. And
Thank
by
you,
help,
Charlie.
I mean I watch nervously while you do all the work.
Yes, that's what live coding is, Charlie. Thank you. So this is something that I'll support my family and help them through. It certainly affects me, but it doesn't affect me as much as it does them. Creating a license for yourself is not something that you should go into without legal counsel. So, thank you, Empolowski. We'll get through. We'll be all right. I'll be all right. We were going to do some travel this weekend to visit, but it sounds like those plans are going to be delayed for a little bit. So, so what I'm hearing is, this might be nice. Sounds like a lower priority, something to push off. And we're seeing some extra findings in something difficult to find, which active transitive packages has a problem. Static code analysis, like Coverity. So static code analysis is coming. You can determine your own license terms. Yes. What I'm saying is, I recommend having a lawyer review that, because creating licenses, you're literally making a statement that is binding what other lawyers are able to do with your software. Not the folks that are working with and using your software, they don't care what it says. They don't care. The lawyer that's going to say whether or not they can sell it and what terms they have to follow on their product that they're working on, they're the ones that are going to be interpreting and deciding what they owe you to satisfy that license. I've looked at the source code of your calculator. You didn't. It looks like a homework assignment. And I don't just blindly open somebody else's code that's brand new on the stream here that doesn't have anybody that's stepping up and vouching for them. You've also used Polaris, and then that is now being bought by Black Duck as well. Oh, yeah. I'm not saying you can't write your own license. Just consult some experts just to make sure that you're not doing things that are going to be misinterpreted from your goals or held against you at some point in the future. So you can write whatever you want in your license. Hey, if you use my license, you have to quack like a duck when I tell you to. You can write that in there. Is that going to hold up in court? No. But But, and I only say quack like a duck because of the black duck references. But you wouldn't ask a lawyer to build a website. You would ask them to get involved and talk with an expert. Good for you. I don't blindly open somebody else's project when I'm trying to get productive with my own project. The last thing that I did was I did snap a 0.1 version because the health check feature and the vulnerability check that goes out and uses the common NuGet repository of vulnerability reports. That works. So I snapped a 0.1 version for two things. One, because I thought it was at a good point to tag that these features work. It also gave me a way to test my tag and release process, and that worked. So, moving on. So, where I'd like to go, I think this is something that we should do. Allow you to support to pass in a folder location. This is much later. This I think is something we want to get into sooner than later. This feels like it could be coming sooner than later. Run available tests and maybe. Oh, I think we have this done. Yeah, this is done. I like this idea, but I think that's later. Sorry, you've now overstepped a line.
Okay, so just so you know, I've never actually debugged anything before. But how hard can it be, right?
And Mythin, I think, didn't you redeem for a code review? Drop me a line on Discord and we can talk about that. And happy to talk that through. So now, Mythin has been a subscriber for 50 months and has been following the channel since 2021. Like, hey, there's a polite way to do this. Would you mind taking a look at this thing and giving me some feedback? Sure. Happy to do that. Nagging me to read your code on stream and provide you with feedback isn't how this works. Hey there, Hyper. Aloha to you. Hope you're having a good morning. That's right. 20,000 channel points, and I'll do a code review for you. So where was I? This feels like a missing feature we should go to, like, right now. Warm Peas! Hello! How are you, friend? You have like 4 or 5... What? Code reviews. We've done a handful of code reviews with you, yes. And they were fun. They were some good insight and good feedback. Cold and miserable. Nah. Yeah. I'm doing all right. I'm working through a couple things here. Got a who the heck is this? Sure, whatever. I don't know. Oh, the points. Yeah. So let's go add this in. This feels like a must-have. Oh, I also I started, I opened VS Code here. I had started putting together a Docker publish and updating so the continuous integration process. And really, can we give it a full name? Continuous integration. So, on pushes to the main branch on the source or test, or pulls on any branch for source and test, then we're going to go do build, and it's going to run it on the matrix. It's going to run it on Ubuntu, Windows, and Mac. Just another Tuesday, right? I saw that our friends in Wrexham, two things, had a lead going into the 80th minute over the weekend and gave it up for a draw. Like, oh, man. Like, they've drawn 5 in a row here or something crazy. Like, they haven't lost, but they keep drawing. Like, oh. Wrexham also, in the FA Cup, they drew Nottingham Forest for the 3rd round. So in January, Nottingham Forest is visiting the Stoke Kairos. So that's going to be interesting to have a Premier League team visiting for the first time in like 30 years. That's going to be phenomenal to see. And now that they're at championship level, to see how well Wrexham keeps up with a Premier League team. So I'm really interested in seeing that. But man, that's right. Penn State hired a new coach, Matt Campbell. Word is that this guy isn't just a good coach, but he's a good leader of men. And he's inspirational, and he really can get that drive, that learning and growth experience out of people that coaches demand. So it's gonna be great to see how Matt comes in and steers the Penn State football culture and the program. So, okay. So just a little update then on the continuous integration process. Not that big a deal. I also wrote a Docker build and publish CI here, task, right? So that when we publish a release, push out to GitHub, the GitHub registry. We're going to build with Ubuntu, check out the code, set up Docker, blah, 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 extract the metadata, build and push the Docker image with the appropriate version number, right? It's grabbing the version number, extract metadata, tags and labels. Yeah, metadata action, an image name. Huh? That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. Yeah, that's fine. Is this extracting the metadata from the current build, or is it extracting the metadata from the Docker image that was last pushed to the repository? Question mark. I don't think that's right. Because I want to get the metadata out of the version. It is extracting metadata for the current build. Docker metadata action, but it's going to the registry and image. from the current Git state. Okay. Let's move over here. Put you on the side. We need to pass the version information. I should add the Docker file here. Into the construction of the Docker file. Is there any good GUI for editing YAML files? No, I don't know of one. And part of the point of YAML was that you don't need a GUI, it's just spaces. There we go. Version, assembly version, file version, informational version, so that it stamps those. Do we have Napster for VS Code themes? Dan. No. That's a good one. VS Code has a good YAML plugin that will help. But Dan. Napster for VS Code themes. No, you have the marketplace. This is the cyberpunk theme that I'm using here. Where'd it go? There's a marketplace. Like, there was a marketplace link here somewhere. I guess they moved it? There you go. That's where you can find the theme that I'm using. So, yeah, that's what I think we needed. So let's just grab those two and added Docker publish and tweaked CI process. There we go. Oh, that's right now on the main branch. Darn it. Oh, I didn't want to do that. Sure, GH actions. Sure, that's good. Thank you. Git reset origin main. Yep, that's right. And jump back over to the other branch. Reset hard. Yeah, there we go. Fine. All right, back up to this. We'll do that in a second. Give me that one. Yep, there's the couple of changes. Good. Do it. Just to make publishing this a little bit easier. Yes. Yes. Good. All right, now let's go back and do this one. So, there's an extension that adds vertical rainbow color, so it makes it easier to see that. Really? Sam, that sounds interesting. Hey, Code with Sean, good to see you. Hello, hello. How you doing, my friend? Oh yeah, I updated my avatar. Is Ellieface still here? I rolled back my avatar on Twitch. And I'm sure she has an opinion. I'm gonna put on the Diablo gunner glasses here today because I feel demonic. So look at that. just have this pile of glasses cases on my little table next to me here. Busy, very busy. Moved the daughter to her first apartment. Oh my goodness. That's a big step. And in this weather, no. What? Okay. Indent Rainbow. Let me check that out. That sounds interesting. Indent Rainbow? Well, we've got a few of these. I'll stick with the one that Sam referenced us here. Indent Rainbow. Oh, I see. Yeah. That's not bad. Right, so you can really tell that's not bad at all. All right. All right, I will take a look at that later. Hang on. One second here. We're going to be picking up the Gunner channels here in about 10 minutes and streaming to them as well. Let's see what happens. Yeah. Okay. I ordered a 3D printer this weekend as well. There's things that I'm trying to put together for crafts and things for my family for Christmas, for winter holidays here. And I'm expecting that to arrive Monday. I went for the Flash Forge. And I'm sure there are folks out there watching that are a lot better than me. Like, I did some initial cursory research. But I got the Flash Forge AD5X. I wanted a bamboo. But bamboo is basically sold out everywhere. So I grabbed this one. So it just say PC load letter. Yeah. 3D printed hat when? Get back to me. The bamboo, I was looking for those and they're literally sold out till January. I was like, okay, what's the next one? And I saw some good reviews for this. I'm just starting into 3D printing. This will be my first one to get multiple colors, to get easy loading of filament. Something that's not huge, not a massive investment. $300, I don't mind putting that in. Elegoo I didn't want to get into because of because the resin's just going to be a mess. I don't have a creative workspace for all the things that would be that would have to be done and managed around that. Yeah, there's some nonsense going on with Elegoo. But this one sounded like it was pretty good. The 5M, I forget why I didn't like the 5M. But the 5X is the one that a lot of folks were really talking up. And I bought the camera and I bought the enclosure kit to go with this. So I'm eager to see how all of that comes together. The first couple items are arriving. Well, actually, there's some filament arriving this week. But Monday, Tuesday next week, all of this arrives. I'm going to get it set up. And then I've got some things that I'm going to be printing and working on for, for Christmas. So the word is it's clearly not bamboo, but for an entry level printer, the word is pretty good. The reviews that I've been watching on YouTube, the folks talking about, they've been saying this is a pretty good printer. And of course, the first thing that anybody does when they buy a 3D printer is print a bunch of stuff to make their 3D printer better. So the enclosure that they sell for this is literally the glass panels to go on it, and the various extensions and things for the various spools and whatnot. And you have to 3D print the actual frame that goes around the outside of the printer. So I'm looking forward to getting that set up. I'm waiting for a response here from my guy at Gunner. There it is. All right. So this is going to be on StreamYard. Let me see if I can. Let's go back over here and let's see if we can just add in the StreamYard folks. Yeah. As we ramp up and get our friends from Gunner to join. Nope, wrong one. Good. Not that one. We want test. Test. Yeah, and it's got the music coming through as well. Okay. And there we go. I am live still. And it looks like we don't need to output the extra content to my channel. We can just stay with just adding on the Gunner channels. Have a good one, Patty Boy. Thanks so much for tuning in. And we're working on another project here, but when we get online with the gunner channels, let me know. I'm going to dock this down here. Oh, you know what? There we go. My output to... I accidentally had my output to the gunner channels at 720. I just upped it to 1080. And that should be better for you. There we go. Yegi.com is a good search engine for 3D models. I'll have to take a look. And I need to add the gunner logo on here. Where is it? Yeah, it's that one. Stand by. We're going to bring in the gunner logos here, and we'll get things running again. There they are. Oh, wow, it pasted it like 6 times. No. Hang on. There we go. And this is live production here. Yep, that's fine. There we go. And there we go. There we go. Bring that in, and I need to make sure I have them. This is fun, isn't this? Over here on the full screen code. Fantastic. All right. So fantastic. There we go. We're starting on the Gunner channels. We're live with the folks on gunner.com and Instagram and Twitter. How you doing out there, friends? My name is Jeff Fritz. We've been streaming here for a little bit. Happy to have you joining us. And we're talking about right now we're talking a little bit about 3D printing. We're going to get into writing a little bit of C# code. We've been today we've been building and working on a command line tool for developers who are programming and working with C# and .NET languages. So viewers of my channel, you're gonna hear me get speak to some things at a little bit higher level, more descriptive for some of the for some folks who may not think they're entirely technical joining the stream. And we're going to have a good time together learning and writing some code together here. So thank you so much for tuning in. All right, I'm going to keep an eye on the comments panel here for the Gunner channels as well, so I can respond. There we are. We're on the Gunner Optics channels on Twitch. So good to see you friends out there. So let
Okay, so I've had a brilliant idea.
What's your idea, Charlie?
What if, and hear me out here.
All right, I'm listening.
What if you actually tested the code first?
Wow. Wow. I am, buddy. We're working on that. Jeez. All right. Moving on. Let's head back over to the code. Let's have some fun writing this. Charlie can be a savage, yes. Just awful. He can be so rude there. There we go. We got our gunner logo up there. Let me scoot that over to the side. Right. Oh. No, you're not going to just move it over? We're just going to... That's fine. All right. So, revolutionary, totally. So, yeah, this is the
young developer,
3D printer
your skills
that I
are
went and picked up.
impressive, but you are not a Jedi yet. Continue learning. Under my observation.
Okay. Got it. I am on that. So, dear Lord. Charlie is vicious. So, yeah, this is the 3D printer that I got. We're looking forward to that. I've got the Diablo 4 gunner glasses on right now. I'll go back over here so you can see. The Diablo 4 glasses on. I love the red trim on the top, right? There's also some logos down the side here. And I don't think there's logos etched on this one. On the glasses. No. No, there's no logos on the side. But there is a right, see if you can see that. Diablo 4 logo there. So, really like these. I think they look great. I never thought I would really appreciate the corners on the glasses like that, but I think they look good on me. I don't know. So we're writing a little bit of code here, and we wanted to update. No, look at that, the little rainbows there. That's nice. So this tool goes and handles and receives commands from the command line, and we're going to take this content and we need to update it so that you can pass in an argument that says, here's the folder that I want this tool to work in. And right now, the tool takes in... Where is it? Well, it hands off... Hang on. It hands off to the health analysis plugin over here. There it is. And it runs on a repository path that's being passed in. So let's walk that back. Where is that called? Right here. So if there's... Look at that. Target path. Parse arguments for a target path. So if the argument starts with double dash, no. Okay, this is good. So the question, the issue that was raised by I forget who it was saying it in chat, was saying that it only runs on the current folder. That's it right there. So we need to be able to give it an argument that says, hey, there's a different folder here you want to work on. So let's give it like a dash P for project, right? If it doesn't start with double dash, then target path is that argument. No, let's do if it starts with dash P or, right? Yeah, starts with path. Yeah, that works. Thank you so much, Code with Sean. Yep, ads are about to start on the Twitch channel, on my Twitch channel. For those that are watching over there. Then it should be the next argument. What? Whatever. Is the target path then to go with. That makes sense. I'm going to need to do the same thing with the, yeah, with the vulnerability. I bet it does the, analyze with the repository path. 13 references? Are you kidding? Repository path is target path or, and there's the same thing up there. That's right. There we go. So I feel like this could turn into something that we reuse. So it's not kind of laying all over the place. So we have a standard identified target path from arguments. That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea. Let's create an extension class. Right, there was a utilities thing over here. Yeah, let's do that. No, I didn't want a folder. New file. String extensions. I don't know. Sounds good. So we'll create a namespace, right, that refers to here's where this thing lives. And I'm going to create this as a public static class. Zoom in just a smidge. No. String extensions. Starts with ignore case? No. Yeah. Identify target path from arguments. Sure. Now why don't you like that? Oh, yeah. Sure, give me some XML documents. Just do it. Using the standard -p or path. There we go. Command line arguments collection. The folder path, if any, that was submitted. Right? Well, all right, then let's call this command line argument extensions. I think that makes more sense, and then we can rename the file. Cool. So now I've got a centralized way to do that, and I can take this and say args dot, right? Identify target path and get rid of that. That was easy. Let's update this one over here. Args dot identify, and I can get rid of that. I'm going to leave that in for right now. I think we're okay with that. Yeah. Okay. Continuing. So those two plugins now handle folder location being passed in. So when you debug, you can pass in the path as an argument and it'll go find that. So what that also means Oh. Do that. Let's do a little branch cleanup here. Path arg. Cool. So what that should mean is I can go I can execute this from here, right? Project source. This is called CodeMedic. And I can pass in a path that is from there. Yeah. And we can say format is let's say markdown. I know that was just off screen there behind me, but you'll see it in a second. Oh, I need dash format. Who knew? I should have known. It's my own app here. Unknown command -p. Oh, because I didn't. There we go. And it's all output in markdown format. I can pipe that into wherever I need it to go. Cool. I need to update the health screen. Help screen. So it includes that -p argument. Right, see, that's identifying format. Version help okay, so maybe it's on the help for these examples. I don't think I have a way to describe the help content here. You know? Right, I need to tell it, hey, there's a come here. Really? I think that broke. Chat editor. There we go. I think we want to be able to specify a list of available arguments for a command and the purposes of those arguments when we register a command. Period. For example, I want to be able to add the -p argument for path for the health command here. Yeah, see, I say period, and it doesn't, yeah. Go help me out with that. So, folks are watching us right now on the Gunner Instagram and Twitter, Twitch channels. Hope you're doing well out there. If you're out and the folks are watching and shopping for a pair of Gunner glasses for folks for the holiday season, there are all kinds of coupons and deals available for you right now. I want you to especially check out the discounts that are available. I believe there's still a discount for prescription Gunner glasses that are available on the Gunner channels and on the website. There's a bucket sale going on again right now. Mystery boxes. Yeah, there is a 30% off deal right now for prescriptions. What?
Before you deploy, might I suggest?
Okay.
And I'm just spitballing here.
Help me out here.
Fixing it first.
That's what I'm doing. My chatbot is a little antagonizing. I wanted to make sure that the folks out there that are watching on the Gunner channels know about the prescription sale that's going on right now. Okay? So 30% off prescription glasses. It's huge. The deal that you're going to get over there. Thanks so much, Space Cat. Appreciate it. Check those out. And the other thing that I think is kind of cool, this here, the bucket sale. So there are $20, $30, and $40 buckets. Okay? If you're buying, if you've got an office Pollyanna, right? You're exchanging gifts with folks in the office. There are $20, $30, and $40 buckets of different style Gunner glasses that fits in perfectly with your budget for your Pollyanna gifts at the office. Order a pair, give them out as gifts to your friends there so that you give the gift of protecting someone's eyes, vision protection. It's really great stuff. Big thanks to the folks at Gunner. Look at that. Did I see the Loki glasses were in there? I thought I saw the Loki glasses in that list. There they are. Loki Asgard edition. $20 for this cool pair of green glasses that you can get. Love seeing that. That's so cool. So check them out. Big thanks to our friends at Gunner for their support, promoting and sharing, and getting us over there on their channel today. Here we go. So I've asked Copilot, I've asked the AI to take a look at our code and offer some suggestions and help out here so that we can add some command argument descriptions to the output of our help arguments here. And it's doing a little bit of work to clean that up. So that's going to be good to see stitched together here. Keeping an eye on a couple things here. Yep, we're good. We are in great shape. There is a Code It with AI episode. The podcast that I co-host with our friend Carl Franklin. There's a new episode coming out, I believe it's tomorrow, where we're going to start introducing and talking about coding agents. How you can customize agents that run and have different tools and expertise that they can use to work with your code, work with you in Visual Studio Code, Visual Studio, whatever tool you might be using. To help out. So, a panic patch in JavaScript dependencies. No, I haven't seen that. So, here we go. So, we're getting this improved format. On the console output that looks a lot better. There you go. Global options, format, path. Nice. So it's running through and just doing some tests to see what it looks like. Output in those different formats. It's really handy using the AI like this to help out with assisting writing our code. This stuff that it's working with isn't really copyright. I don't feel like we're lifting content from artists, from creative folks here. So let's see what it let's read the summary here and see the updates that it made over on the left here. Successfully implemented argument specification support for the command registration system. So added a command argument class. So here's a command argument. Okay. With a short name, a long name, description, is it required? Does it have a value, a default value, and a value name? And then enhance the command registration so that we can pass in arguments. So there's a general help that shows command-specific options. Command-specific help, nice. Shows detailed usage, okay, I like that. And enhanced all the core commands to include the path argument specification. Nice. Fix the argument parsing logic to properly handle command-specific help versus general help. Okay. Very cool. So let's take a look at how it updated the health analysis, because that's where I was working. So there's the command registration it did and the examples. But when you run this, I don't see where it's going to grab the health. Render banner, render help. Show command specific arguments. Render command help. There we go. Well, that's nice. Okay, I like it. And it's rendering it to the console only. So that's good. That we don't want it to try and output to some other format that we may have been specifying. So I like what it did there. So I'm going to include those changes. Updated to allow a path argument in the execution of a command. Yeah, there we go. I'll push those changes. And it's to fix this one, number 21, that was identified. So there we go. And we'll add this in. Yep. Fixes 21. Create that pull request, and it should go through and run all my tests now. Now, I should probably generate some tests, update some documentation to go along with this. And those I see as very much, those are things that I really want to, like, you saw, I wrote a lot of the path processing capabilities in here. I want to hand off the generation of documentation and unit tests. Those things I really want to hand off to the AI to work on, because they're things that I don't enjoy and things that I don't think you would find enjoyable to watch me do. So, yeah, see that? It passes in a root path when the vulnerability scanner starts. There we go. So we'll reach into this. Okay. So there it is, passing in the repository path. Is it... Right, there's register commands, execute, identify target path. There we go. We've got that same method that we wrote. So, good. I'm happy with that integration, but I want to make sure that we go through and update our documentation. And actually, I'd like this to be a record. Convert the command argument to a record instead of a class. Right? Command argument, this is something that it really should be a record, right? A record is a very simple, very short syntax for defining an object in our code, right? So instead of having a class all laid out like this, I can define my command argument as one line with a little bit of documentation to go with it. And we just need to update over here. Instead of new command argument with curly braces and defining these, we just change the syntax slightly. Creates the exact same stuff, but instead of having all the overhead of having a full class here, we know that it's a very small idempotent object, right? We can't change it directly after it's been created, called an argument. It also gives us some nice formatting when we need to compare those objects to each other. So cool. So it converted it from a class to a record and updated the plugin files. Nice. Converted command argument to a record. And I'll push those out. Next, I wanted to generate some tests. Can you generate some unit tests for the new path argument for these plugins? So let it generate a couple unit tests for us, and then we'll generate some documentation, push all that out, merge it in, and we'll be ready to move forward with our next steps. So, cool. Now, right now, there's, for some of the developers that are watching, if you want to get in and do more AI stuff, an event started over on the Visual Studio channel and on Twitch about it's the .NET Agentic Developer Day. I think that's what they called it. So come here. It is. I don't see it. So, how we doing, chat? I feel like I'm on here. AI Dev Day. That's it. It's today and tomorrow. I think it's today and tomorrow. So, comprehensive unit test for the path argument functionality. Don't mind if I do. So, get that rolled out. It's important to me to increase our surface area for the test here to make sure that we have assurance, right? Assurance and insurance that these things are behaving. 10th to the 11th. Is it tomorrow? Might be. Next Thursday, we're going to be live on the front page of Twitch. We're going to be starting a little bit earlier on Thursday. We're going to be live over there. I'm setting up to do some of the code.org Hour of Code lessons during that event. We're going to do that. I've got a handful of other things that I want to do during our visit with the front page. I particularly want to do the Minecraft for Education exercises. So that folks that are casually going by on Twitch see Minecraft and drop in like, hey, look, Fritz is playing Minecraft. Nah, not really. It's Minecraft for Education. It's kind of. So, yeah, but we will be on the front page. All right, create some tests for, so this one, the bill of materials is what where I want to go next. right? And I should probably show you the vulnerability analysis running. And we'll proceed from there. So, oh my goodness. Chuck with the gift subs.
Chuck Beasley just gifted 10 subs.
10 gift subs in the channel. Thank you so much, Chuck Beasley. That is phenomenal to hear. Phylin, Tenna, Charles, Wellgun Master, Once the Loneliest, Go HCW, Macro Hard, Kamasol Tamer, Axel the Ashen, and La Blue, LA Blue. Congratulations, you got gift subs. Thank you so much, Chuck. That is phenomenal. I really appreciate the support, helping us out here. Trying to get our subscriber count up into the 200s so we can cross into another level of earnings capabilities here, things that we can do with the channel. So running all the tests. Look at all those tests, dear Lord. Right, so 56 tests run, all succeeded. 5.8 seconds. You just did. Like, now 103 tests passing. A quick functional test. What? Microsoft Front Page was such good software. It was. Front Page was amazing. So, here we go. Test files created. Command line argument tests. Command line argument extension tests to handle empty array and the path arguments. Health analysis plugin path test to make sure we're handling the path properly. Cool. So, right, let's look at added bounds checking to prevent index out of range. Added break statement to return first found path argument. Okay. Test results. 56 new tests specifically for the path argument functionality. Oh, so wait a sec. So this is saying, hang on. In that command line argument extensions, yeah, look at this. Look at what it fixed. So if there is a path argument and we have something else, then go get that something else and then stop. Don't continue processing. Nice. Yeah, you're right. The markup in Front Page was dreadful. Dreadful. What else did we do here? So now we've got 103 tests. We've got complete coverage for the new path argument feature. Nice. So we'll keep that, include this, generate a commit message. And let's update our documentation to include notes about the path argument. And let it go through and figure that out. And deliver those. Cool. There's like a weight off my shoulders knowing that we're going to get good tests. We're going to get some good documentation updated here, right? Just looking at that list of tests that it created while this is off and running here, right? So, working on the path, register commands when called returns command with path argument, command with correct examples, uses the current directory when there's no arguments, when short path argument then uses the path, when long path uses the correct path. Like, these would be dumb for us to write by hand. Getting the AI to generate those, right? And taking a look at the code that it wrote, right? Like, I could have written that by hand, but man, that would have been annoying to write. So, I'm okay with that. And it looks good. So, checking to see if there's any documentation to update. So it updated the README for the repository to include some of the new path arguments here. Command line quick reference to include those. Output. Information about the path argument. Nice. Okay. Installation and running. Run via scripts. Run via data. I also saw the formatter here. Maybe we can drop the JSON formatter in while we're at it. That should be easy to do. Command line argument documentation for architecture? Sure. Docker usage. Specifying being able to pass in /-- path for the repository location. Nice. Okay. The vulnerability scanning, updating it so it includes path arguments. Okay. So we're getting through this. And so I want to do JSON, and I want to do a little bit on the bill of materials. I think JSON format we can do first. The JSON format, right, is a simple format that is supported by JavaScript readers, but it's also important because it's something that we can expose then as a service. And when we get into doing an MCP for this, right? MCP is a model context protocol. It's a way for us to take this tool and expose it so that AI, the language models, can call that. So I can let Copilot execute this command as part of its analysis process, right? That gets interesting because then, right, we can tell Copilot how to interact with CodeMedic. That's cool, right? Being able to take your tools that you're building and allow the language model to interact with them, right? Or your application, and allow the AI to interact and return some analysis based on what it can do with your application. That's some pretty cool stuff and pretty powerful stuff that you're going to be able to start to do more of going forward. So, updated the user documentation, the main documentation, the technical documentation. Here we go. Command registration system, and it included information about arguments there. Built-in path argument support. Cool. That works for me. So I'll update and just write updated docs. I don't need to be overly descriptive about it. Can you not use tune format? Why? Why would I want to use tune format? Help me out. Like, I could. The MCP server will automatically take care of that kind of formatting for me. JSON's also used in there. So maybe hold off on JSON format. Yeah. All right. So that's updated, and I think we can really move this over here. Take this one and close that. And I'm going to go up here over to this one. So it's run all the tests against all the things. So let's merge. Yep. So we've got documentation, we've got tests, all updated out there, and we'll close out and delete that branch, and I'll bring everything back. Right? We'll bring in what we just merged. So phenomenal. Look at that. I'm flattered when folks gift subs to the channel and they want to spread information and share about the things that we're doing here on stream. Thank you so much for that. All right. So the next thing that I wanted to go back to over here, let's go back over to the issues. Before I go into, I don't think I want to do that yet. This would be fun to build. But I think that might be a little bit further than I want to go. Yeah, tune used for the LLM. Yeah. The token object-oriented notation, something like that. Yeah, so there's an SDK, right? There's a tool that we can use with our .NET code that will handle that formatting and presentation for us so that we can focus on just building our methods that we're going to, and the tools we're going to expose to the LLM. So quickfire over there on YouTube. Don't need to quite go that far building that out inside of my code, because the framework that I'll use enables that for me. So thanks for the question. No, I don't want to do that. Don't do that. I don't want to restart the computer. We're broadcasting here. All right. I'm gonna close all those. Back up here. We had started writing some docs about some features here. Plugin architecture, vulnerability scanning. Let's start talking about bill of materials. So in enterprise development, right, when we're building software for big companies, the lawyers, the executives, the folks that sign the checks at the end of the day, they want to know the bill of materials. What are all the things that we're referencing and we're using in our projects, in the software that our teams are building, so that we can manage exposure to vulnerabilities, to security issues, what have you. So that document that summarizes here's all the things is called a bill of materials. And one of the initial features that we talked about and thought would be a good feature to build is a way to generate a bill of materials for a project. And we talked to Copilot. We generated this document based off of some of the feedback from chat, some of the ideas we had for what's involved in generating this type of a document. And we want to be able to identify external dependencies, packages, frameworks, services, vendors that we're using. We want to provide links to those features. We want to detect configuration and environment requirements. So as you build and push your project to various locations, what configurations are needed? And let's store that information somewhere about what's required there. Any risk factors. Hey, these packages haven't been touched in a long time. The dependencies that are, right, vulnerable dependencies, we've already got that built. And vendors that aren't approved, right? Drift detection. Hey, you know what? You haven't updated this package in a while. So, and produce machine readable and human readable outputs. That's where we might want some JSON format for this. So for our NuGet packages, right, our packages that .NET uses, we want a detailed inventory of all the dependencies. The frameworks that we're using, specify what's being used there. detection methods, the value it delivers, external services. So are you using a cloud provider here? Are you using third-party APIs? Like, if something happens and we see that there's some news about Stripe or Twilio or one of these vendors that are doing things that you might want to be aware of, be good to be able to raise that on this. Ink4s with the question here, will I list dependencies licenses? That's a great idea. And it is listed here on the package, bill of materials. So let's update this to say license type with link to the package license. Right? Because the folks that are reading this document, they won't be able to go into a NuGet package and pluck out the license file from there. But to provide the link that goes back to NuGet.org or wherever their license is, the authoritative version of their license is stored, and point to that file would be handy. So I like where you're going with that, Ink4s, and we can see a little bit. And if you're interested in seeing what I've got started here, this documentation, it's right here on GitHub in the doc, and where is it? Feature bill of materials document. And I'll share that link right there. You can mark warnings about change in licenses. That's a fantastic point to be made there also. Where did it go? Report changes in licenses between current used version and newer versions that are available. There we go. People would probably want to know whether some packages are open source or not. Sure. Open source versus commercial. No, versus closed source. Commercial is another one. Commercial package with links to pricing pages, right? License related limitations. I like where you're going with the suggestion ice cream stick model, but I think I think we can provide links to those types of things, right? Like, hey, this is MIT licensed. Here's a link to, there's a website out there. I can't remember the name of it. There's a website that describes the licenses in layman's terms, right? OSS software license descriptions. Like there's a couple different places that wrote up what the hot wax systems really like. GitHub had a thing. Ah, here we go. So there was somebody in chat earlier who was talking about writing their own license. You can do that. It's not accepted by the open source initiative if you just write your own license. You can submit it for approval, but they're not going to endorse and say, what happened there? They're not going to endorse and say your license is an open source license. Here's the complete text of that license. Yeah, this is just saying here's what these licenses are. GitHub did have a description of open source licenses. Open source license descriptions. There was something there. Will it be enforceable? Right? That's a very good what do we got here? Choose a license dot. That's not bad. So ice cream stick model. This might, right? This is a nice description of various open source software licenses. Yeah, I did skip their blog post. I think we can just provide, like, in a footer for more information about licenses and link to here. So that, right, just as a fixed bit of documentation when we start doing reporting on this. I think this is nice to link to. What do you think, chat? Help me out there. When you do create your own license, there is a question about, is it enforceable legally? So we can definitely do something. I think we can link to this to make it pretty clear. Its description of AGPL v3 is a bit wrong. Even static or dynamic linking to an AGPL library requires full source code disclosure. Stand by. I'm not familiar with it. Well, right. The purpose of this, right, is to give a high-level summary, and there's a link to the full license if you want to read into it. So okay. Yeah, there's a lot of these. Let's start building some of this out. Now, before I go too much further, create a branch for this. Let's call this BOM phase 1. Right? BOM, bill of materials. BOM. All right. So I've got somewhere to work here. And in the project, plugins, and under bill of materials. Now, for some reason, it copied these over. There is another NuGet inspector up here and a reference to the physical file system. I don't need those two there. So this plugin at this point was just calling the NuGet inspector and getting a list of those versions and then generating a bill of materials report. And it wasn't really doing much at this point, right? If I run this right now, right, .NET run, I'm going to run bill of materials and if I don't give it, it'll just run on the current folder. That's fine. Go. Let's see what it returns here. So, right, restoring NuGet packages, package restore completed, generating comprehensive bill of materials. And right now it's just this this list. I thought there were transitive dependencies. I'm not going to dig into it. Okay, so now we need to start extending out information about these packages. So we are getting, right? Do we have target framework? Not built yet. Well, let's come back to that. Let's do, I think license type we can put in this table. Right, once we've identified, where'd it go? Yeah. Let's include this. And let's include the document. I want to work more on the NuGet package feature of the bill of materials command. Let's start adding licensing information to the table of packages in the output. I'm curious to see where it goes to get that information to output here. Let's see what we get to here. Now, licenses are technically inside the NuGet package. So I'm curious if this is going to expand the NuGet package and go poke at the license that's inside of it. Right? You know you can do that, right? Hey, Thindall, hello. So, yeah, while you're poking around there, how's it going? You're not late, I'm early? Oh, okay. Let's see, I'm going to drop into CodeMedic. I don't think it brings a copy of the packages here. There's the DLLs. No. If we say .NET NuGet. No, where is it? Oh. There we go. There's my sources. But there's a locals is what I want. .NET NuGet, not NuGert. There we go. So I can go into that location. Yeah. One second. And here's all the packages that my machine has. So let's go find XUnit. Because XUnit. There it is. So there's the package versions, and if I go down to 293, there's the nupkeg. And the content that comes with it. But importantly, there's the new spec. And there's the license. So we should be able to grab these. Step 1, want thing. Step 2, consider if you need thing. Of course I do. Step 3, decide you'll be happier with the thing, but probably won't. Order thing, expect delivery on Friday, get email delivery tomorrow. Win? Yes, big win. Big win. So, working as designed. Is it, though? There, look at that. License, MIT, BSD3, MIT, Apache. All right. What do we got here? What did you do? So, give me the summary. Where's the summary? You don't have a summary. Extended the package info class with license and license URLs. What? That's my license. License URL property. There they are. Yeah, okay. Implemented license fetching via the NuGet API using the new spec files. There it is. Via the NuGet API. Where do you see that? How about info on what the repercussions? So the idea was to put a link out to choosealicense.org. Here, fetch license information. Where fetch license for packages, and it's going to NuGet for that. Okay. We could probably do a little bit more with that, but okay. Yes, let's add a footer. Add a footer to the package table in the markdown output, markdown format. That links to here. And says something like, for more information about OSS licenses. So we want to be able to detect that commercial license also and include some sort of indicator that it's commercial or open source. If it's commercial or not, open source or closed source. So I think we're getting here. License compliance education. Cool. Legal team resources, developer awareness. Yes. Graceful fallback, async processing. Cool. Can we also add a column to that package table that indicates whether the package is open source or closed source? And perhaps another column to indicate if the package is commercial. I don't think it's going to be able to get this information directly. Let's see what it does. So, Thindall, do you like that? Do you like that idea of a link to choose a license here? Where, to your point, right? Like, I'm a big fan of the MIT license. I can use it for commercial, distribution, modification, private use. I have no liability. I have no warranty that's offered. And license and copyright notice needs to be carried around. Apache also provides use for patents and private. So the idea here is, if I patent something in the open source software, you're allowed to use the software, but you're not allowed to use the patent. It's weird like that. Do whatever you like with this, but if it explodes, it's your problem, not mine. If you're using this for medical and or heroic things with the fire department or whatever, and there's a problem, that's not my problem, it's your problem. So let's see, what did it do? Source type, open source, closed source, or unknown, indicates if packages are yes, commercial, no, free, or unknown. Let's give it a try. Let's give it a try. Didn't go up far enough. And run it again. See what we get. Oh. Where am I? Fine. Run it right here. So this only ran in the CodeMedic folder, and you see there it's only used on CodeMedic. None of these are commercial, open source. Okay, I guess that's all right. All right. We're getting somewhere, right? So now if I run it on the whole jam, there you go. It's hitting the API for each one of these. I don't know if I like that. Let's change gunner glasses. I feel like changing things up. Because that's what I do. I think caching it is the appropriate thing. I also think I did a .NET restore. We have the package locally. The information is in the package. Like, the license is there. So let's do that. Like, then I don't even have to go somewhere else. Just look at the files on disk. I'm going to put on the Witcher glasses here. Uh-oh. That's all right. Yeah, these are the Witcher Interceptor glasses. I think these look cool. Right? Kind of aviator types of glasses, and they've got leather wrapping down the side here. Makes it look really, really cool. Check these out right there. So, I like it. Is it checking if the latest version is in use? That is a good reason to call the NuGet API. So let's do a couple things, a couple refactorings here. I like where Ice Cream Stick Model is going with. Let's confirm that we're using the latest version or not, and include that information here, upgrade available, and what that version number is. And then also cache the lookup of those licenses. So let me go back over here where it was doing the license detection. Let's create a new one of these, bring you back over here, take this one, close that out. So where was it? Fetch license for package. Yeah. I'd rather not go out to the NuGet API to fetch licenses for packages, period. If we've restored the NuGet packages like we have inside this plugin, we should be able to look at the local NUSPEC file for that package and read the license information from that spec document. Then we'll come back and talk about the latest version. That we can hit the API for, and that will run very, very fast to come back and tell us what the latest versions are. Yep. There we go. Now, it should be running those just fine when this executes from inside of a Docker container. Right? So, what did we do here? Get NuGet packages folder async. Fetch license for package async, passing in that global packages path. NuGet global packages list. Yeah. So we can get the location for global packages. Okay. Mm-hmm. It's now reading license information from local NuSpec files. Yeah. So somewhere down in here. So fetch license, package folder, NuSpec path. If file does not exist, try alternative naming. Read all text, parse the XML. Cool. Fantastic. So run that John again. Let's see what it drops out here. And then we'll talk about the latest version checking. Hey, Reg, how you doing? And yeah, that works. Okay. I don't know why I cleared that. Go run that again. Okay. One second. My younger daughter is having some issues with her Surface Pro. We said I earlier. Oh man, did I? I missed that. Or I'm. There's a lot happening here. So, okay. So we have a cleaner way to do that. Let's update those. And then let's do this detect package update. Right, this. Try again. Bring you over here. And I am moving the Copilot window around just so it's easier for us to find what's going on here. I want to be able to detect if there are new versions of NuGet packages that are referenced in my solution. New versions available. If there are new versions available, comma, indicate the latest version in the package table. Yeah, just do that for right now. Just, hey, there's new versions available. Go check over there. I don't want to do any analysis of what's changed. And after this, let's do the check for stale. Right? So, ice cream stick model with the good suggestion of check to see if there's new versions of a package available. But then we'll do the other side here. Well, there hasn't been an update in X amount of time. That's a good one. The stale check. So, we're going to go about another half hour here. Talking tech, writing some code together, getting Copilot to do some research and write some code for us. I feel like we're at an intersection of vibe coding and getting the AI to write a little bit for us. Don't use any that are less than 30 days old in case there was a problem. That's not bad, Jedi. That's not a bad idea. Right, there's an intersection of stale and hardened. Well, hang on. If it's less than... It might be... Let's talk this through, Jedi Wing Knight. There might have been a package, right, a new minor version, right? The foo package has been updated, and it's now on version 5.0. And that update came out 2 weeks ago. So that doesn't fit into that type of buffer. There might be patches that fix bugs. So we have 501, 502, 5.0.3. And that 5.0.3 with that bug fix, yeah, what Marcus is pointing out, that might be the good bug fix version that we want. And that came out yesterday. So, and Ice Cream Stick model with a good point as well. There might be a critical patch, a security patch that was released that we want to take. So maybe there's an intersection here for that Jedi Wing Knight is pointing to of maybe don't take new minor versions, don't take new major versions within X amount of days of release. Stable versus preview, that I absolutely think is a good one. Yeah, to be sure, there is absolutely... There are preferences that developers have in being aggressive with taking updates. I want the latest stable releases as quickly as possible. I want the latest preview releases as quickly as possible. Versus the conservative of, I don't want a new minor version, but take new patch versions for the major. Stuff like that. What do we got here? So detects newer versions of NuGet packages by calling the NuGet API. Shows the latest version in the latest column. Uses visual indicators and arrow for updates available. A check for current. Filters out pre-release versions to show only stable. Handles network errors gracefully. Timeouts 404s. Updates the summary statistics to show count of updatable packages. Maintains semantic versioning comparison to determine if a version is newer. And I think that's a little bit of right where and Jedi Wing Knight, you're making a very good point here about talking about that type of not just selection, but right suggestion of, hey, it's time for you to update these packages. Not just there's a latest version available, but that nudge of there's a latest version available and you should take this. On the other side of that discussion is the stale comment. Hey, you've got the latest version, but you know what? It hasn't been updated since 2024, since last year. you might be concerned about this. So let's see what it changed. 161 lines changed. So down in here, so after we fetch the license information, fetch latest version information. Okay. And then here, formatting the headers there. Yeah. Latest version display. Good. Packages with updates. Nice. Down here, here's that fetch latest version information. Look at this. So we can do things concurrently. Setting up a semaphore. Waits for a semaphore, so it's only doing at most 5. Fetch latest version for package. Right? Semaphore, it's initial, so it's going to start 5 and use 5. So fetch latest version with, yeah, there it is, and there's the API. That I'm okay with. And I don't think we need to cache those. Like, it's okay to hit that API. There's long cache headers on that API NuGet. We don't need to worry about caching that locally. They're good at doing that. And right now we're talking about just public packages. When we start to get into commercial packages, and I'm thinking of our friends at Progress or Dev Express, they have a different server that these come from. And we're going to have to deal with that. Handle non-public NuGet servers. In situations where we're working with commercial products that have non-public NuGet servers, we're going to need to be able to handle the inspection and fetching of information about those packages differently than the public packages that we're currently primarily focused with. Now, I said primarily, and what, you don't like that? And that's no, it's not NuGet servers. Sorry, I'm sorry. Your NuGet package has cat scratch fever. Yeah. So that's going to be an important thing to be able to handle at some point. No, back over here. So, right, look at that. Feature detects several packages have updates available. Okay. Show me. We'll see how this looks. So, I know folks here on my channel, I know you've heard me talk about gunner glasses a lot. Oh, look at the formatting there. That's not kosher. We're going to get that cleaned up. But I know the folks here on my channel, you've heard me talk about gunner glasses, how much I enjoy wearing them for years and years. But they've shared some information with me about some of the cool partnerships and new designs they have coming out in 2026. If you don't have money for gunner glasses now, if you don't want to take advantage of some of the deals that they have now, I want to make sure that you know there are some partnerships, there are some cool fashion fashion-forward glasses that you're going to see that are from some of your favorite games and pop culture shows and movies coming up in 2026 that look phenomenal. Even if you just buy them for the sunglasses, you don't want to get them for, you've got a nice pair of computer vision glasses you like, you are going to love these sunglasses that are coming out in 2026. All right, so love the innovation that the team is always coming out with. Yeah, we need to fix that, right? Do I want to copy that? No, let's take a screenshot. Paste that into ye old John. Ye old John. There we go. Formatting for the new columns has skewed the console output. Fix it! Fix it. The arrow up is knocking things. No, I don't think it's the... oh, it is the arrow. You're right. Yeah. I don't think that's it. Here it goes running here. Ah, that's better. Notice it's using this arrow indicator instead. So. And we'll try it in this editor. That didn't... That still didn't work. No. Is that a font thing? I'm using the same font. I see the correct format in the VS Code terminal, but when running in Windows terminal with PowerShell, I see these skewed columns again. Skewed columns still. It already, yeah. It is really wide by default. Yeah. Using ASCII characters. Mm-hmm. I'm going to miss the emoji, but I think this makes more sense to just say current. That's not bad. I think that works for our needs. What happens if a package is used in more than one project? Looks better. What happens if a package is used in more than one project? Emojis are getting a bad rap lately. People can tell you've used AI. I think you're right. The over-emojification, is that a thing? I think it is. The emojification is that with the M dash clearly indicate you used AI. Especially Claude. Claude is emojis all over the place. What if the same package has different versions across projects? That's a great question. And it outputs 2 rows. Cool. That works for me. Yeah, add that. Yep. Is there a report on the health if there's different versions of packages? Speaking of different versions of packages in different projects in the same solution, comma, is there an output in the health analysis report for different version packages across different projects in the solution? Question mark. I think there is a mismatch projects. I think there is. Yeah, look at that. It already has package-specific mismatch detection. Yeah, see that? So I want to come back now to... There should be information related found vulnerabilities. Ice cream stick model. I've already got that coming with a different command. So the transient packages, the transitive packages right there. Why aren't they being picked up and included here? So let's grab that and that over here. Yeah. The bomb analysis is not identifying any of the transitive dependencies that are being reported in the health analysis period. Investigate. Not Baum. Visual Studio downgrading packages if mismatch happens. Yeah, that's a problem. But you're right, Empolowski. It's not finding it for some reason. Go get it. Go get it. I need to find it. There we go. So it's running a test to see if it finds it. That didn't do anything. Oh, no, there they all are. All right. That works for me. And I think it worked for Copilot. Yeah, there we go. Cool. Why am I not using Sonnet 4.5 or Opus? No reason. I could. Opus is a little bit higher demand, so it's doing the same thing for me. So, hey, well, look at that. We're going streaking. How you doing there? Is it G Bone? Hello. So, good. We've got that information being included now. I like what we're seeing. Save that change. Yep. Okay. So close that. Now let's do that licensing change. When we fetch information about packages from NuGet.org, I also want to detect if the license changes and raise that as a warning on the report. NuGet.org. Let's see what it can update here. So, it's doing a fetch to go out and get information about the package, right? We have to do the framework section. Not terrible. External services. We'll work on that. Fetch licenses. Okay. Fetch license information from the NuGet API. See, right, so package name index JSON. Like, right, if we go to that, right, so if we go there and let's look up newtonsoft.json, right, lots of versions, so that's just version information. Ooh, it wrote 230 lines here. Has license change, and it's got a indicator there. Once again, emoji. License changes detected. I don't think I want it as columns in the table. What do we got down here? Oh, and it's going and getting the new spec directly. Ooh. So... okay. Look at them tests. Oh, dear Lord. 100 tests in 10 seconds. That's fine. I don't want license change information in the table of packages, but only listed as warnings below the table. I could go through and delete that, but go figure this out. What else? Oh, stale package detection. Let's do that next. We should be able to do that right as we wrap up here. I don't want to cut a new version, but definitely checking these all in and providing that update, because I still want to do the framework and vendor references so we can inspect those. Testing, isn't that what production is for? Come on, the bog rat. What's a few tests between friends? Cleaner table, focused warnings, better user experience. Yeah. So now, right, run this again for my project. Watch it clear things out. Ooh. Ooh. Well, those are the projects here. We've somehow entered a space where the projects being analyzed are appearing in the packages table. Period. Let's make sure that those values are omitted from the table. What? And then we'll generate some tests, and then let's take that stale feature. Stale package feature. Report on packages that are stale. We should be able to inspect the packages and report whether the packages had any activity in a certain amount of time. Had any recent activity. And optionally raise a warning if there has been no activity in, within a duration specified by the user, or a default of 1 year. Right? I think 1 year is not bad to say something stale. Like, if something hasn't been updated in 6 months, okay. Like, that might be okay. But if something hasn't been updated in a year, That's a problem. There it ran all the tests. So, yeah. All right, good. I appreciate the confirmation there, right? Like, you got to keep me honest here, that I'm not out trying to do something weird. So, yeah, that's one of the projects in the boat here. Like that's not. You're gonna make me do this myself because you can't figure it out. It's getting a list of project references passed in. No. It's... You know what? For right now, that does what I need. Okay. Let me open the pull request. I'm not going to merge this yet. I'm going to mark it as a draft. With license information. Yeah. Latest version. Now including license used in local NuGet package. New spec doc. Warning if there is a no. Version number if a new package version is available. A warning message if a new package version has a new license. Yeah. Oh, I wanted that to be draft. It's fine. Leave it out there. So, you can take a look at that pull request if you're interested. There's a link for you in chat. So, right, this is the matrix build that it's doing, right? For those of you that are watching that aren't familiar with what's going on, when we make changes to our code, we save copies into GitHub, our source code repository, right? This is, they keep a safe copy of the code we've been working on, and they run these actions. Whenever we make a change and we save it into GitHub, we push those changes to GitHub, it's going to run these tests to make sure things work, right? Verify that we didn't put something in that breaks the application. And because we want this application to work on Windows, Mac, and Linux, it's running against what we call a matrix, right? So there's a Windows machine, a Linux machine, and a Mac machine that are out there that GitHub sent my code to and said, go make sure that these things build and they pass all of those tests, all 100 some of those tests that we had specified. And if we click into this, we can actually see, right? It uploaded the test results somewhere. I don't know where. But we can see down here at the end, it ran 103 tests properly. So, containers to the rescue. That's coming. So, we can see all of those test reports right here. Right? This is going to give me a zip file that I'm going to have to pop open and take a look at. And there's a way to do this a little bit cleaner, but I'm okay with that for now. So, but this test and check on the work that we did, really handy, especially when we're a single developer that's working on a project, or we're working on a project that's open source like this that anybody can access, to be able to see when changes are made that prevent something else from working properly. To be able to peek in and take a look at those and clearly see a list of all the files that have been changed that we can work on. So it's good stuff. We're making progress. I like what's happening here. But it's time for me to call it a stream. And yeah, we're going to be saying goodbye to our friends that are watching on the Gunner channel as well, because we're at the end of our time streaming with them. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in, for being with us here. Always a lot of fun writing code together on stream. Big thanks to our friends at Gunner for supporting the stream, sponsoring the stream, for sharing and syndicating out to the Gunner channels on Instagram and Twitter, Twitch, and there was somewhere else. Anyways, thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. I'll be back tomorrow. We'll be writing some more code. We're going to dig in a little bit further on this. I'm going to record a quick summary video that explains what we accomplished today, what the bill of material is, how it's growing, some of those initial features that we put in there, and talk about some of the shortcomings that have cropped up as well. All right? Let me see who else is streaming on the big Twitch TV network. For those of you that are watching my channel on Twitch, let's get you set up with another channel, some more great .NET content that you can go check out. Looking around the horn here. Oh, look at that. He knows that I was starting. He was just here a little bit ago. We're going to raid him. Our friend Thindall is streaming right now on Twitch. Let's go say hello to him, all right? There's your raid. If you're watching on YouTube, thanks so much for watching. There's great videos on my channel right over here, down here. Make sure you check out the playlist all about CodeMedic. You've got a couple of little 5 to 10 minute videos that'll tell you more about how this application was decided on and how it's growing. And we're going to see that story evolve on that playlist, and hopefully it gets a little bit more interesting over time. If you're watching on Twitch, get ready to say hi to our friend Thindall. And if you're watching on one of the Gunner channels, have a fantastic rest of your day. Make sure you protect your eyes. You're going to appreciate it. All right? And I guess that's all to say for everybody. I wish you have a fantastic rest of your day. I wish you good health and good coding. Take care.